DJ Laz-E from Ireland on WFMU. So tell me about your contest and how did you come up with this great idea?
Oh, it started about 3 years ago. I was with some friends. I finally decided to build a recording studio, a lifelong dream. And I wanted to, a lot of the guys in Ireland back in the day kind of fell off, around the early 90s. Ireland wasn't ready for hip-hop at the time, so a lot of guys who were really talented, kind of just started to have families and that. So I decided to reach out to some of my really good friends from back in the day to record again. And I came up with the idea, I was looking for a name for a label, to be honest with you, a record label. And I thought, well, we're going to resume recording. So that's where the name came about. So I decided to reach out to some friends, Irish friends. And then I realised that I had a lot of people who I knew from the Plastic Attack radio show who I'd interviewed who were amazing artists are not recording now. Simple as that. Didn't have a record deal. So I reached out to G.L.O.B.E. G.L.O.B.E, I said, would you like to record? And G.L.O.B.E just said, absolutely, let's do it. And I thought, wow, brilliant. Now, we were friends anyway for a long time. And we recorded this kind of an electro song. But during conversation, G.L.O.B.E had said, Play That Beat is 40 next year. And I went, what? Well, what are you going to do? And he said, well, nothing really. I haven't thought of anything. I'd never do a Play That Beat Part 2, that's for sure, because it's a sacred song to me. Me and WizKid and the memories they had. And I thought, wow, you got to do something. And we started to talk about W.D. and Steinsky and that remix contest that Tommy Boy put together back in the day, where Play That Beat came out in 1983, I think September 8th, 1983. And about a month after that, Tommy Boy Records put an ad in the Billboard magazine looking for the track to be remixed, but they decided to host a contest. And there was huge judges, Arthur Baker, Jelly Bean, Shep Pettibone and those guys. Bambata was in there as well. And W.D. and Steinsky won, as we know, and the mix was called the Payoff Mix. So they won with that, and the prizes were funny, Billy, right? Because the first prize, well, the only prize really, was a Tommy Boy t-shirt, right? Nice, I'd love one of those. $100, not much at the time really, and the Tommy Boy back catalogue. And the Tommy Boy was in its infancy, so there wouldn't have been many records. So there was a handful of records, basically, $100 a t-shirt, but you got to have your record pressed up. Now the record would have been on the Disco Net circuit at the time. So I said to G.L.O.B.E, let's do a track to commemorate Play That Beat, the 40s. And then I came up with the idea I said, wouldn't it be great if we had a contest and, would you mind? I had to run all this by G.L.O.B.E first, Would you mind if we asked W.D. and Steinsky to judge it? And then I said, and then the ball got rolling and it snowballed. And then I said to W.D, would you be interested in doing a mix? And he said, well, we're busy and blah, blah, blah. So then G.L.O.B.E said, I'd love a female on this. And, and I said, well, what about Sha-Rock? And so before you know it, G.L.O.B.E is in the Bronx, of course, but there's me and DJ Control in Ireland. We're making the music for a track that's to commemorate 40 years of Play That Beat.
And what an amazing track you guys created.
Thank you. Well, and can I just say it's not meant to be Play That Beat. It's meant to commemorate what Play That Beat was. What Play That Beat was, we had this discussion with G.L.O.B.E because we don't want to get ahead of ourselves and to put someone's nose out of joint. But I told G.L.O.B.E, I said, Play That Beat is one of the first songs to ever to show the relationship between the DJ and the MC. So he's saying, cut it up, Wiz, cut it up, he's saying, play in the playground, and then you hear him doing that kind of cut that sounds like a skipping rope. It's amazing. I mean, the first time I heard Play That Beat, by the way, because it was tough getting records back in Ireland, the first time I heard Play That Beat would have been in Beat Street, in those mixes, the part where where Lee is walking into the house party, he's got the black and white Puma on, and you hear, Play That Beat, why don't you play it for me, and it goes into the perfect beat and all that. And then I think that would have been 85, and then of course again we got the soundtracks, and then of course you would have had the Tommy Boy's Greatest Beats, which we all got, and there's Play That Beat, and it's also in the mega mix. And so you're blown away by all that stuff. And it's just amazing. So it was the first call, pretty much one of the first, if not the first call. I mean, there's one with AJ Scratch, but I think Play That Beat was first call and response track between a DJ and an MC. So what we decided to do was, let's do a track where there's a lot of scratching. He says, this has got to be scratch heavy. And I went, ooh-wee, great. The guy who makes the music with me is an old friend. He just turned 55. It's DJ Control. And back in I think it was late 88 and early 89, there was no DMC battles or Technics DMC battles in Ireland. And with DMC put on a small contest, a DJ battle, to see if there was enough interest or enough talent for them to put on a national championship and involve Technics as the partner, the way it is all around the world. And DJ Control won the battle, right? He won this battle. And then but I was a rapper at the time. Now I went in for the contest, but I was on the radio. I was just at the finishing on the radio, but I was used to using Technics turntables. And I came second, even though I was an MC. But I was an MC, and my DJ was an amazing cutter called Cutmaster J. And so then in January of 1990, Technics and DMC hosted the first national DMC battle in Ireland. And Cutmaster J, who was my DJ, I was his feeder, we put a mix together. He came second. He was amazing. And Control, I think, came fourth, right? And Emek won that competition, obviously. He went on to become 5 times champion. So that's the significance of DJ Control. He was much older than us, and he was even dabbling with drum machines back in 1986. So there's him, Cutmaster J, and we brought in DJ Flip, who was the world scratch champion. But the great thing about it was that we're all from the exact same postcode, small area in Dublin. But we called ourselves the D22, which is the postcode, the D22 Turntable Quartet. And it was so funny because I don't know if anyone out there who's kind of stepped back from turntablism for a while will be able to relate to this. Your mind says, yeah, let's go for it. But the hands say, hang on, guys, wait for me. And that's what happened. Cutmaster J hadn't even had a turntable or had a record in his hand in 30 years. I had to lend him one of my mixers and a turntable and a pile of old Q-Bert Battle Break records for him to come up to scratch, excuse the pun. And that's where it came to be. So he does the kind of the fresh routine in the middle, and you know, we tried our best. We were sensible enough to leave the main cuts to the main man, which was DJ Flip. Flip tears it up on that record, he really does. And I remember when he was sending me some passes, we were like, oh God, this is going to be good, you know. And I remember when Sha-Rock and G.L.O.B.E had heard like a pass of his cutting, because I was putting the cutting off until the last part of the recording, and they were saying, any chance of hearing the scratching? And I said, all right. So I sent them this rough demo with the scratching, and they were like, wow, you know. So we were happy with that. I'm happy the way it came out. It's the hip hop I fell in love with. A rare break. It's just a kind of a breaky beat, which is all it is really. There's not much music in it. Lots of scratching and rapping. And I mean, you know, they tear it up. They really do. You know, for people who were not recording and performing all of the time, the two of them just tear that apart. They really do. There's nothing to be embarrassed about for us. Even me as an old guy who's rusty. You know, I'm not that old. I'm 51. But I'm not a turntablist. I'm not on fire the way I used to be. Definitely not, you know. But none of us let ourselves down on the record, which is what I'm proud of most. In fact, in the track on the acapella, when you hear Sha-Rock doing her part, there's a tiny hiss in the background. And the reason is the door is open in the recording booth because G.L.O.B.E is right there with her, and he's kind of almost, just because he's in the mode, the two of them are in the zone, and he's kind of almost saying the parts low, and you can really hear him, you can really hear the bleed, which is great. For me, no one would have even spotted that. You can't spot it on the track, but knowing it, that the camaraderie between those two legends, you know, Billy, you know, you're Irish. I think it's very, very difficult to try and convey to someone from New York what Ireland was like. I mean, there was hardly any black people in the 80s, and so we were starved of a culture. We weren't getting all the soul and funk records and different foods and everything that you'd have in such a cosmopolitan, you know, kind of a area like New York.
Right.
And so for us even to be able to get those records was a huge thing. And so for me, years later, to be able to record with those people who I idolized is just massive.
Right.
It's like winning a gold medal at the Olympics, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really honoured. And then Double D and Steinstein, that's just other level stuff.
The track that you did, which is amazing, got released in late May, and it's on Bandcamp, and it will be coming up on vinyl, as you mentioned, along with the remix. But what I also got a kick out of was seeing their studios credited in the Bronx and also in Wicklow. I mean, as an Irish person, that is such a great thing to see those credits. But what I wanted to ask you was, I mean, how weird is it that you, someone from Ireland, DJ Laz-E, who honestly, sincerely, you know, has a passion and a real love for hip-hop culture and its deep history, but how come you come up with this? And it seems like a lot of times, not just in Ireland, but in France, you have these labels who reissue classic hip-hop, and there's more of a love, it seems, almost overseas than here in the home of hip-hop, right? What do you think?
What it is even Irish people give Bono a really hard time. They don't appreciate him. And it's like the people in America, I feel, as an outsider, I feel that, you know, it's easy for people, the G.L.O.B.E and whatever, to walk down the street and they're just like, oh, that's G.L.O.B.E and stuff, and they're kind of part of the landscape. But for us, we hold them at such high esteem because they're from another country. And I think that's what the whole prophet not recognised in his own town is. It's the familiarity of it. And especially living in Ireland, you know what it's like. Ireland is cold, and most of the time it's raining. And when we were kids, we'd put on, you know, the headphones, you'd lie in your bed and you close your eyes and you just try and imagine guys in the Bronx or guys in Brooklyn or whatever rapping in a basketball court with guys on the turntables. When you hear those tapes and everything, you were transported to another place. Whereas if you're from the Bronx, and you put that tape on, you're listening on your headphones, it's the guys down the road. It's not as special. But for me, it might as well have been on another planet. That's why it's extra magic. That's why hip-hop is more appreciated in Europe.
Well, getting back to the contest, can you give me the exact details? If people want to do a remix of the track, how do they go about it? Do you have it posted on Bandcamp? Is it the different parts?
So what you can do is the original track is on Bandcamp, right? But what we've done is we've put another track on Bandcamp. It's about 16 minutes long, so it's the break. It's a break that we made, so it's not a looped break. It's the break, followed by the bass line on its own, followed by the scratching on its own, followed by the bongos on its own, followed by the acapella on its own, followed by the scratchapella. So you can take that track, obviously with today's technology, chop it up and do a different version with that, or you can make your own drum beats, your own scratches, your own sounds, and just take the acapella. And once it's recognisable as the original track, what we want to avoid is people going sample heavy. We live in a different time now. It's not like you can take Mardi Gras and Apache and get away with sampling them like the old days. First of all, the original contest had 75 entries. We've decided to cap it at the first 75 entries. So as many people as they want can enter, but we're only going to listen to the first 75 that come in. So it's first come, first served. We will have a panel of judges, be myself, Cutmaster Jay, and a few of the other guys who made the track will be listening to the entries, right? And the top 10 will be passed on to WFMU and Steinsky for them to judge the winner out of the top 10. Right? I don't want to burden the guys. They have a lot on their hands.
And that will all happen on this show coming up in early September.
Absolutely, yes. Well, I have the dates and everything. So you can go to Bandcamp and download that track. It's only like €1 to download. It's 16 minutes long. It's got everything, right? The mix has to be under 4 minutes long, right? So, because we don't want guys to go on and on and on, and then we'd have to, ask them to edit and whatever. So we just might as well tell them now, 4 minutes max for the mix. WAV format. The prize is a great prize, right? So what we've decided to do is we will own the mix. So the minute you hand over your mix, it's ours, right? I mean, if it's the winner. If it's not, you can do what you want with your own mix after that. But if it's the winning mix, it's ours, right? And your payment is the prize, which is what I'm going to go over right now. If you do intend on using samples, you've got to clear them. And that's going to be a headache, and it's going to be costly. And I don't want to have to do it, so that's why I'm saying it to you now so you can avoid it. Here's an example. All the part on the very, very start, there's a part where it says, all that scratching is making me nuts. That's me saying that. I went into the studio and I said it a few times. Actually, it says, what does it say? cut, scratches, cut, all that scratches, making me nuts. I actually stuck it at the whole thing at the end, and I gave it to Flip. I sent it to Flip, and he said, okay, he picked his favourite take. So you can make your own sounds. That's what we're trying to do here. The technology is out there. We don't have to. W.E and Steinsky don't use tape and sellotape and little blades anymore either, even though it was cut and paste, and they probably did back in the day. No one's doing that, and we want to be able to move forward with the remixing, but keep it old school, keep the vibe going. And so we'll own that, and it will go on the record. It's only a limited amount that's going on the record anyway. One entry each per contestant. So there's no point in sending 10 mixes in. We'll just pick one. Simple as that. And everything will be judged on originality and technical proficiency, exactly like the original one. If you want to, we're going to go on about this a little bit more, but you can go to resumerecordings.com/remix contest. That's resumerecordings.com/remix contest.
Okay.
And you can, and that's where you can go there. And then you can also, there's a little the down box is there, and all the information and the rules are there. And the email is info@resumerecordings.com. Obviously, leave your name and your number. But the prize is, so what we try to do is we try to keep it as tight and as fun as the original prize, okay? So the winner will get a $100 bill, which is almost like nothing. But from W.E and Steinsky, now we know it's against the law to tamper with currency. So we'll probably frame the bill so it can be used again, if you like. But we're going to get a plaque made up and it'll be presented. There'll be a kind of an inscription from W.E and Steinsky. Instead of a Tommy Boy t-shirt, you'll have a Resume Recordings t-shirt. And Reloop have been very, very kind. They've donated a portable performance controller. These things are amazing. Plus DJ Pro have been on as well. So we've got a 1 year's subscription to DJ Pro. And I suppose the creme de la creme of the prizes is really your mix gets to be featured on the vinyl pressing, which is a limited edition of 500 copies.
And that will be coming out when?
What happens is the contest is going to run from the 1st of July till September 8th. September 8th is the original date of the release of Play That Beat. So we decided to let it run from July 1st to September 8th. Okay? And as soon as we get the mixes, it takes a little while to get things sorted, and as soon as we get all that sorted, it goes off to get pressed. Now, anyone who's getting any vinyl press nowadays will be able to tell you you're looking at about 3 months. So you're looking at you wouldn't have it in time for Christmas. Maybe Christmas or January. Probably January again the vinyl comes out. But the record, you will have your mix out on vinyl, limited edition vinyl, white vinyl by the way, and the cover we have with the microphones and all that will be the cover, except on the back of the cover we have a mock-up back of the cover now, which is a mixing desk, and it's got Polaroids of everyone involved. The new actual sleeve will be the same, but it will have a Polaroid of the winner and also of W.E and Steinsky because of their involvement. You'll be on a record with Sha-Rock, MC G.L.O.B.E and W.E and Steinsky.
Fantastic. Well, listen, we're out of time here. I want to say thank you so much, DJ Laz-E, for calling in all the way from Ireland.
Yes, can I just say before I go, a big shout out to Cutmaster J and DJ Control and DJ Slips, because they really, really killed it, man. They're my old friends, and it's a joy to work with them. It really, really was. They mean an awful lot to me.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. Take care.
Take care.